Pakistan, where the country's Supreme Court has adjourned the hearing of arguments on whether Prime Minister Imran Khan had the legal right to dissolve parliament and call for early elections. Now, for more insights, I have joining me Kelechi Decca, an international affairs analyst. He joins me via Zoom from the mainland here in Lagos. Good to have you join us.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
So this has been called a constitutional crisis because, according to, I just want to get this right, according to Pakistani constitution, once the vote of no confidence is moved in the assembly, the prime minister loses the power to dissolve the National Assembly. And so because of that, this has now been called a constitutional crisis. I just want to get your thought on whether you think this is now a constitutional crisis in Pakistan.
Yeah, basically, you have to understand the fact that the speaker who ruled the no confidence motion claimed that it violated Article 5 of the country's constitution, which calls for loyalty to the state and constitution. So what he's trying to do is that he wants to use his party affiliation to Mr. Imran Khan to kind of postpone the evil day. Now it is in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to look into it and decide whether actually it's a violation of the Constitution or not. But whichever way it goes, there are a lot of speculation that Mr. Khan's stay in power is numbered.
And how did you think he got to that position, though? Because he's quite popular. He's still quite popular with the people, although he's losing that popularity just by a few numbers. But he is quite popular with the people, always has been popular, even when he was a cricket player. And then he moved into politics from a very wealthy home. He came into populist politics, promised to fight corruption, develop the economy. But today, we see that waning support in parliament, as well as some people, also saying that, look, they are quite disappointed with some of the things he's done. But how do you think he got to the place where he's now there is now a vote of confidence hanging in the balance at Parliament?
Like, like in every other country, you agree with me that most candidates that come into politics promising to fight corruption end up not fighting the corruption, but they also end up being more corrupt than the corruption they came to fight. He came in with that messianic complex because, one, he's a national figure. He's a very popular man. I mean, he was the national captain of the country's cricket team that won the 1992 World Cup. And that's the first time and the only time they've reached to that level. So he's been celebrated. He's been seen as a god by a lot of people there. And aside from that, when he left sports, he entered into philanthropy. Because his mother died of cancer, he started raising money to build hospitals and cancer centers all over Pakistan. That one endeared him to a lot of poor people. A lot of people loved him because of his philanthropy. Then, Pakistan has a very unique system of government whereby the military decides that they are the ones who are the custodians of the democracy. And sometimes, if you're not doing their bidding, they remove you and bring another person. So the military saw him in 2018. By that time, he was already in parliament. The military saw him as the middle force, that the third force that are going to bring him, because Pakistan historically has been, between two contending factions. So the military brought him to be able to water down the two contending factions. But now, as things are, he is now challenging the very military that brought him to power. And
let's also look at the fact that Pakistan, they've been two votes of no confidence in Parliament in Pakistan. One on Benazir Bhutto, and that was in 1989. She survived that. She made it through. And there was also Shafkat Aziz, who also in 2006, I guess that was, or 2010, also survived that. And so there were speculations that he might survive it. But let's look at the overall politics, because right now it does look like he's not going to. But let's look at the overall politics in Pakistan. There has never been a prime minister in Pakistan that has ever completed their tenure. What does this say about the stability of politics in Pakistan?
The countries within that region is a highly unstable region. Apart from India, that is so politically stable in that region, all other countries are having one challenges or the other, be it Pakistan, be it Bangladesh, be it Sri Lanka, all of them, they have that kind of challenge, because there's a heavy dose of politics and ethnicism into a heavy dose of religion and ethnicism and sectionalism into their politics. So whenever a political figure or an elected public figure starts failing, he will quickly invoke religious sentiments, and a lot of people will follow him. What's happening now with him is that he is trying to defy the same military that helped him into power. And the military in Pakistan has a way of always trying to decide who stays and who does not stay. And that has created a kind of a banana peel for politicians in the country, and has also led to the creation of an unstable political environment in the country. So what he's going to do now, from all speculations, is that he is trying to both run down on the military and run down on opposition figures. And the way he's doing it is that he's inciting the people that is the United States that's against him because of his closeness to Russia in recent times. But the timing is very bad for him. Prices of food is hitting. The prices of food is hitting the sky. Prices of energy, cost of living is beyond or the ordinary. So whatever he's trying to do, the element seems to be working against it, because the timing now is very tough. Even if he survives the vote of no confidence, he's not going to turn the economy around, because there's rising debt. Inflation is like it has never been in the last 30 years. So a lot of challenges he's facing in both on the economic front and also on the political front. So I don't know how he's going to survive it, because the army will still have their way.
And whether or not he survives it, he's called for fresh elections. I wish we had enough time to talk about the role that the military might play in that elections, and the person who is likely to succeed him, Shehbaz Sharif, whose brother used to be the prime minister as well in Pakistan, and all of the corruption that surrounds that family as well. But I'm told my time is up. Thank you so much for talking to us, Kelechi Decca, International Affairs Analyst.